The Backrooms. One of the internet's most famous liminal mysteries for over 7 years now. It started with just one, but now it has almost 1,000 levels, all going under the same backroom name. But today, we're bringing it to Minecraft because I'm building 6 of the Backrooms levels in Minecraft. Let's get started. Level 0. This level will have 4 counterparts: the backrooms, the pitfalls, the pillars, and the arches. Wait, not those arches. The arches. We'll also be utilizing the immersive portals mod to make this game, well, immersive. I started by making a layout of somewhat of a maze, keeping some parts and bits disconnected to make it feel more backrooms-y. I then raised the walls up by 3 blocks to make sure there was clearance. I also added these placeholders to connected portals together to make the maze seem to extend infinitely. And don't worry about the block choice, they're just placeholders and will be placed with the texture pack later. Next was the pitfalls room. This room will be necessary to completing the level, as you have to cross it to progress. I made a simple grid of 4x4 pits and used black wool as a placeholder for the time being. In the back right section, I also added an exit, taking you straight into the arches, which will serve as the ultimate exit to level 1, but we'll get back to that later. Next up was the pillars room, which is pretty self-explanatory, just a bunch of pillars. This room will later be adjacent to the pitfalls room, but not a necessary one. Lastly, we have the arches room. This consists of repetitive arches offset by 1 block each row. It took me a little while to settle on a good shape, but I found this one to work well. Then added shaders, textures, and connected those placeholders with immersive portals. I also connected the pillars room with the pitfalls room using a portal, which, now looking back, I probably could have just built the room connected, but whatever. Lastly, I added the ceiling so this doesn't just look like a glorified garden maze. Thus, level 0 being complete. You spawn in the main backrooms. You must navigate through it until you come across the pitfalls room, where you must balance across the grid and risk everything. Or you can just go around it in the pillars room. Once you get across, you will quickly find a door leading to the arches room. You must navigate the maze of arches to the end. Only then will you escape level 0 and enter. Level 1. The Habitable Zone. Now the most well-known image of the Habitable Zone is this one, most notable for its ramp, pillars, and white floodlights. But there are other portions of the level such as these hallways and what looks like to be another parking lot. But what we'll start with is these hallways. I started making what's essentially a maze, similar to the threshold in the previous level, but this one is more closely tied to a maze. I decided to go with quartz bricks for the walls, but added a layer of nether brick to make it feel more like a basement, and add some doors to different rooms. I then went and added some lighting all through the hallway so you could actually see what's down there. I finished the roof, and with that, the first section of level 1 was complete, and pretty solid, might I add. I also wanted to take a moment to show you what texture pack I'm using. This is the Cane Pixels Backrooms Texture Pack by Cyberhue1337. This pack is free on ChrisForge and you can download it for yourself. I could not do this without this texture pack, so thank you, Cyberhue. Next up, I wanted to make kind of a secluded parking zone that kind of just gives you a claustrophobic feel. So I started just making random rooms and putting parking lines in them. I also put a yellow layer, similar to the nether brick, to give it that parking zone feel. Last but not least, the big expansive parking lot, where I started by making the ramps first, which was weird, and then built the walls around it. I then built the pillars, which would undergo several random changes, and the frame of the room started taking shape. After that, I added a bunch of designs to the wall to give it a little bit of texture, and then added lights, pipes, bars, all of that. Now to complete the level, you'll need to go up the ramp into the top floor, but I put arrows that lead to, well, nothing, as you can see. Lastly, I made the top floor, which is pretty boring, but in the corner, you will find a hole, leading to the next level. And lastly, for level 1, I added shaders, connected portals, and added some block set adjustments to better fit our texture pack. And with that, level 1 is complete. You walk down the stairs into the unknown basement, a sharp drop in temperature startling you. You wander through the halls, the monotony of the doors almost driving you insane. You eventually find an opening leading to several parking areas, but something feels off. Aren't these supposed to be bigger? Nevertheless, you keep going. You find a small vent that's conveniently opened. You crawl through. On the other side lies yet another doorway leading to a much larger area. It feels more right, yet somehow more wrong at the same time. You follow the arrows, only for them to lead to a barren wall. You then question how this is affecting your IQ level. Not well, you presume. After a while, you stumble up the ramp into a room that's empty. Or is it? You find a hole, appeared to be created by some primitive tool. But what lies in it, you did not expect. Level 2. Pipe Dreams. Now the face of this level is this image, and I most often see it as a transitional space from one level to the next. So that's what I'm going to be doing here. I simply made an asymmetrical tube. I put pipes, grates, and all that stuff, and just like that, abandoned utility hose is already finished. The left side has these copper pipes and tubings, while the right side has these copper braces. Of course, at the top we have magma for ambient lighting. And then of course, we have portals on both sides going to either levels. I'd give you a cinematic tour, but it's pretty simple. And with that, Pipe Dreams is complete. Level 3. The Electrical Station. This level is portrayed by brick walls, iron bars, and dingy lights. And unfortunately, I was not able to recover the footage of me actually building it, but what I can do at least is show you what I built. Now the structure of this level is heavily inspired by the adaptation of Electrical Station in the video games Escape the Backrooms. This is really the only hands-on source I have in Backrooms things. I thought it'd be cool to recreate one of the levels. This level is divided into two sections, Section 1 and Section 2. Both are necessary to escape in the level. In the first part of Section 1, we have a long hallway. On one end, the entry, where we came in. On the other, the exit, locked behind an iron door. In between those is a door leading to the next part of Section 1. And here we have several shelves, a closet, and a cell. And at the far end of Section 1 is another iron door, the other side of it leading to Section 2. Now I wanted to add a little puzzle game to progress through the level, so in Section 1, there are 3 levers you must find in order to progress to Section 2, very similar to how it works in the game. In Section 2, it's pretty empty, save a room or two within an area. Section 2 follows the same pattern as Section 1. 3 levers are hidden, you must find and flick all of them. Once all are flicked, the door to the exit is unlocked. And that concludes Level 3. You walk out of the tunnel, a bit disoriented, but stable. You see a long hall, at the end of which you notice an exit, blocked by bars. You search for an alternative route, or anything that can help. You see a door you somehow missed. Stepping through, you're greeted with warm lighting, wooden shelves, and a closet. You turn the corner to find another iron door, locked, same as the other one. You search around, trying to find something, anything. But you see it. A lever. You flick it. Nothing happens. You search more, find another one, and flick it. Still, nothing happens. You find yet another lever. You flick it. You hear pistons and clicking. Turning around reveals the door, wide open. Walking through, you're greeted with a much darker ambience. But, being a quick thinker, you presume the same system applies here. You search through the halls until you find 3 levers. Upon flicking all of them, you run to the original entry you came in, and, sure enough, the door is open. On the other side lies 2 wooden doors. Opening them reveals Level 4. The Abandoned Office. Now the only image of the abandoned office seems to be of an empty room with windows of pure light going around the perimeter. I could just build an empty room and leave it at that, but I do want to make it actually feel like an office. I started by making the room itself. One end the entry, the other end the exit. I then added windows, desks, and chairs. And the cosmetic side of the room was basically complete. One last little feature I wanted to add was a little lever you had to find that would unlock the door, very similar to the previous level, but a lot easier. Lastly, I added shaders and put these light blocks behind the glass to give it that look we see in the image. And of course, I added portals to connect this room with the next one. And with that, Abandoned Office is done. Walking inside, you're met with a rather small, quiet office with symmetrical cubicles on either side. As you make your way to the opposite end, you notice that there are bars covering the door. Then you decide to do something you haven't done this entire time. You stop for a moment and breathe. You go over to one of the windows to try to peer through it. But then you notice there's nothing on the other side. It's just light. Then you notice something else. That desk isn't right. Looking a bit more, by some miracle, you find something. A lever. You flick it, walking back over to the door. Sure enough, it's unlocked. You open the door and step through. Level 5, Terror Hotel. Now I could only find one image of the actual hotel, but I think this gives us plenty to work with. I started making the frame of the room with quartz bricks, sectioning off one part for a receptionist area. And then after adding pillars of stripped dark oak to give the room some structure, I raised the walls. I also added a little platform above the doorway, adding carpet and chairs. This isn't inherently a part of Terror Hotel, and maybe it's even its own level, but I thought it'd be cool to add. I then continued making the beams and raised the walls to match it. I then added the ceiling, going for a rounded open look. After the ceiling was done, I added these wooden grid-like cross beams, like we see in the image, and it gives the ceiling a lot more texture. Once that was done, I added some lighting and gave the room a little bit more liveliness. The last thing for the lobby was an elevator. This will take you to the hallways in which the rooms abide. I was originally going to use a teleporter command, but thought I'd use a little portal trickery. Anyway, once adding shaders, that completes the lobby area of Terror Hotel. Moving on to the hallways, I made a hallway section off each room and then went through the process of making the exact same room multiple times. Once that's complete, I added a ceiling, lights, and shaders. I then used portals to turn this single hallway into an infinite one. This being the final level for today, I did not add an exit. And with that, Terror Hotel is complete, and so is the Backrooms. You step in. An expansive lobby greeting you. To the right are sofas. To the left, a receptionist area of some sort. In front, you notice two doors. You open the one to your left. In there lies a single button. You press it and fall through the floor. You're then met with a hallway of multiple doors. After walking around for a while, you realize there is no possible exit. And you truly realize you're trapped. Hey, the Backrooms can create a spooky atmosphere. But as Christians, we don't need to be afraid. The Bible tells us that God did not give us a spirit of fear, but of love and of power and of a sound mind. And even though fear may enter our lives, we do not have to be afraid, because we can trust in our Savior that He will take care of everything. God bless, guys.